So welcome back. We're dealing with Chapter 8 of Healing America's Narratives. Those some other issues or examples of American shadow. And to begin with today, we're going to speak about what I refer to in the book as ambivalence about the planet. And what we're speaking about when I say that is climate change, global warming, and the tendency to wait too long to do anything about it. We've already waited too long, as anyone listening to this knows, with what they used to call once in a century storms and fires happening on pretty much a yearly basis in the United States and around the world. And while climate change and global warming are not uniquely American issues, in other words, every country on the planet itself is at risk, the United States has been one of the primary contributors to the human impact on the climate through its industrialization. So just a couple of historical notes. In 1965, in the report of the Environmental Pollution Panel from President Johnson's Science Advisory Committee, President Johnson actually wrote, "The technology that has permitted our affluence spews out vast quantities of waste and spent products that pollute our air, poison our waters, and even impair our ability to feed ourselves. Pollution now is one of the most pervasive problems of our society. The flow of pollutants to our air, soil, and water is increasing. Our present efforts in managing pollution are barely enough to stay even, surely not enough to make the improvements that are needed." And that was November of 1965. In 1974, the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency, did a study on climatological research as it pertains to intelligence problems. And they warned that, quote, "weird weather," close quotes, could lead to, quote, "political unrest and mass migration." So again, the knowledge of what was going on is not new. Okay, as we're speaking today, I'm speaking in the year 2023. In her book, Our Biggest Experiment in Epic History of the Climate Crisis, Alice Bell writes that debate about climate change in the last third of the 20th century would be characterized as much by delay as concern, and that, quote, "fight back from the fossil fuel industries played a role in the delay, and that fossil fuel companies, quote, do run on science, but that they are strategic about which bits of science they use." So an oversimplification but accurate statement is that major corporations who stand still to lose money if fossil fuels are no longer used to energize the planet played a large role in the United States in lobbying Congress. As you recall, that lobbying business played a role in the defense industry as well, that the purse strings of these large corporations had a big influence on the purse strings of the electoral campaigns for various people in Congress. And that has definitely impacted the nation's response to climate change. The delay has been, well, not exclusively, almost exclusively due to the financial interests of large corporations and their concerns about how working to really slow down global warming and climate change would affect their bottom lines and the dividends they could pay to their shareholders. All right, so we'll pick up more about climate change in the next episode and say more about some of these other issues that are examples of America's shadow. As always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you the next time.